explain your final drawing assignment. This is worth a decent chunk of your grade for the first unit, and it will be the last, full tonal drawing that you do in this class. So let's take a look. If you click in your Google Classroom, you're going to get the instructions here. So they're all written out. And the first thing that you need to do is find a black and white photo to use. And I'm going to go over this because this is important so you get the right photo and you can do the right kind of drawing. So I want this to be a photograph, and I said not a computer generated image or drawing. I'm actually changing that this year. I guess I should rewrite this. I will allow, if you cannot find the picture that you want on Google, then you could use something that you generate with AI. I used this, like I had this assignment for years before AI was a thing, and the quality was always terrible when people had a computer generated image. As long as you use an ethical site, and that will be Adobe Firefly, and we'll talk to that about that in a little bit. But it has to be like a photo, a large image. It has to be acceptable to be displayed in a Catholic school. So like a pin-up bikini babe is not going to cut it. Things with beer and alcohol. You guys know what the expectations are. And if you're not sure, by all means, like, talk to me and we can see what you come up with. It should have blended areas and sharp areas, be very clear with precise details, have a variety of darks, middle tones, and highlights. Too many patterns or textures will be difficult for you to do. I'll show you examples. Be printed in black and white, not color. This actually as well, instead of a full-size sheet, I'm only going to have you guys do a half-size sheet to save some time because we want to move on to painting soon. And you can print it from home or the school library, or you should be able to print it next door. I'll just work on setting that up for you. And you will need the photograph for what day? Today you have the end of the day. I would say by the end of tomorrow, September 26th of 2023. So let's take a look at photos that are good versus photos that are not good for this assignment. So good ones have sharp details. They have some areas that are blended. So there's blended areas here, nice sharp details here. It has a variety of pure blacks, pure whites, and lots of different grays. And this one's a good challenge, but actually it's not too hard. This one, I like how it goes from pure whites to grays to blacks. It's got lots of sharp details on the edges, but lots of these blended areas in between. Yeah, it's appropriate for school. It's not too hard, not too easy. It's a good choice. This one as well. Now, this is a little bit pixelated, so I think it could probably be better, but it has some sharp details, areas of pure light, areas that are black, lots of midtones, sharp areas, and blended areas. Okay, this one as well, I think you're starting to get the idea now. Pure whites, pure blacks, sharp areas, blended areas. This one, once you get the idea of textures, it's not so bad. I'd say this is like kind of on a higher level of difficulty, trying to get lots of textures in here, but still it has everything that I am looking for in an image. Now, this one we're getting into the not so good area now. This one has a lot of grays. It has a little bit of white and it has a decent amount of black, but it's got a lot of grays and it's got a wild amount of like little details that would probably be pretty miserable for you to add. So you do have to think about this. You're going to have a week to do this assignment. I don't even think you'll need that long, but do think about like the amount of detail that you've got. This one looks easy in a way. It's got lots of blended areas. It's got lots of white sand, but there are lots of textures on these stones. There's a ton of these little stones. You'd really have to be dedicated in order to do something like this. This one isn't bad. I would still accept this one. Blacks, whites, sharp areas, blended areas. It's not too bad. Now, this has a lot of gray. It only has a few white areas and a few black areas. It's a really gray picture, and it's a martini glass, so I wouldn't really say that it's necessary for this assignment. This one is deceptively easy looking, like it's just this, shadow right here. Um, it does have lights, mediums, grays, and darks, but if you actually look at it, all the texture that you see on here would be really difficult. And it's not the most exciting as well. So, oh, sorry, somebody just came in. So I would say that you maybe not do something like this. This one, the tones are okay. This isn't the sharpest here. It's all kind of grainy and pixely, and the amount of detail on there will make you cry. So please don't choose something this difficult. This one could be interesting, except it's got nothing in the background, which makes it a little bit too easy. It's really pixelated and it has this giant watermark across it. Images that are pixelated like this are not okay. They have to be sharp photos. And I do want something in the background, especially because you're only doing a half page and no big watermarks like this. Now, this is what I meant before by computer generated images. Even a year ago, if I said computer generated image, this is what I would have been talking about. You can see here also that so it's pixelated big time, and then it's got thousands of these details. It's just not practical for a week. So please just be careful about that. This one I'd say is kind of too easy. It's got lots of blacks and whites, but it doesn't really have any midtones. And it's just a little too simple. This one as well, too simple. It's almost all gray. It really has almost no whites in it. And this whole area, there's just nothing to really shade in. So it's not showing me everything that you can do. So that would be too easy. But maybe you find a face with more details. Or maybe you find a face with tattoos on it, or you find a face that's a little backed up a bit so you can have more detail, and that's fine. Please don't choose anything with a black background. That's because you're going to have to avoid all the whites, but get all the background pure black. And then you're going to have to erase all of these details into it. And it's going to be very difficult, and your result just will not look great at the end. So please avoid things with black backgrounds. This one as well, cool image, but not a lot of midtones. It's a lot of black. Yeah, it's a lot of black and pure white. There aren't any really real tones in the white as well. Not a lot of grays. Just not a great picture. This one is not a photograph, it's a painting. And I want you to be looking off of photographs or photorealistic things. So please don't choose other pieces of art. This one is really gray, tons of detail, almost no whites, almost no pure blacks, really, not great. This one also almost all grays, so not a good one to go with. You really want that variety of tones. This one sure has the variety of tones, but can you honestly imagine drawing all these windows and all the tones in them? That would probably be a semester-long project. And this eye would be really cool to draw. I would be fine if anybody wanted to do an eye like this. But you can see that when it's printed, it would be really pixelated, and that wouldn't be good. So I'm going to show you guys how to find the images so that they will work for your project. The first thing I like to do is go to Google, and I like to type in portrait of something I like. So say you're into tractors, you could do like tractor portrait photography. And maybe there will be something that comes up for you. So you're going to go to images, and then you're going to go to tools. And the first thing you need to do is make this a large size. This doesn't work on your phone. It must be done on a Chromebook or a computer. You can't get the large option on your phone, and you cannot necessarily find good quality images from your phone. So it has to be done on your Chromebook or computer. So I'm going to select large. From here, I could also select black and white if I wished. And I could select the type that, now I don't want any of these. I don't want to give a line drawing or clip art. And then I could start going through and seeing if there are any that would be a good call. Now, when I look at these, a lot of them have extreme detail, and some of them are coloring books. When I look at these, I think, I would really have to search for something that doesn't have extreme detail. Now, something like this might be okay, but it's pretty gray. It doesn't have a lot of tones in it. And so you're going to have to search it. It is a little bit strangely of work in order to find the right photo. So say I didn't find that, and I'm like, that's not really going to work for me. So what am I going to go to next? Portrait photography. Well, I like dogs. So I'm going to type in dog portrait photography. And it looks like it's reset the images on me. So I'm just going to make sure. I don't know why it reset that. So again, I want it to be large. I am going to change it to black and white. Your images, by the way, do have to be printed in black and white. Maybe you find a picture that you think would look really good printed in black and white. So maybe I would find something like this happy guy right here, guy or girl, and I want to print that. I could try printing in black and white and seeing if it does have the right tones. I can tell that it would have pure blacks, it would have whites, and it would have lots of gray tones. So maybe this would work. But if you just want to be sure, you could go to the large, the black and white, and you could look through here. And when I look through here, I do see images that are definitely a lot more reasonable to do. And when you type in portrait, it will have like often the blurry background already done for you and something sharp in the foreground. And maybe you really like Labradors. So then you go and you type in like Labrador portrait photography, and you can go from there. And that's pretty cute. Maybe the background's a little bit easy on it, so talk to me about it. But I think, you could make it work. So basically you're typing in anything that you want with portrait photography, and you're seeing what you come up with. Always making sure it's on large, and then seeing if you want to change it to black and white in order to help out. So you've got options there. The other option that you have, besides doing the Google route, I would say do this if you're really kind of stuck and you just can't get the image, you've got it in your head, is to sign up for Adobe Firefly. So Adobe Firefly uses its own database of photos. The artists are compensated, and it's one of the ethical places in order to generate images. Most of them are not, but this place is. So you're going to sign up. You're going to go to Google and type in, or I guess just the top, firefly.adobe.com. It's going to let you sign up, and then you're going to find a text to image generator. And so you do have to be kind of specific with this. So the one I was typing in before was about a hockey player. So I'm going to type in, let's see, portrait photo of a hockey player's face. Determined eyes, sweat, helmet. And I'm going to put, maybe for your sake, like a young hockey player's face, determined eyes, sweat, helmet. And I'm going to go to generate. Now, when I do that, normally on image generation, I would give a lot more details than this. However, Firefly lets you choose a whole bunch of things right away. So you can choose landscape or portrait, not square or widescreen, please. So I'm going to do landscape. Then I'm going to go to, I guess I'll do popular. I want it to be a photo. I'm not going to use these. Color and tone, black and white. Lighting, you could try dramatic. I'm going to do studio lighting. Composition, and you can see macro is very extreme close up. I'm going to do blurry background because that way I know that I'll get sharps and blurs. And now I'm going to generate this again and see what it comes up with. It does take a minute. Now, right away, I'm seeing this blue, so what's going on there? So I'm going to do a black and white portrait of a young hockey player. Now, you could determine the gender. So if you want it to be like a girl or a guy, you could write that. You could write maybe instead of young, you could say a teenage or a 20-something. And then you can keep regenerating until you kind of get what you want. And, maybe you just keep refining it and you keep giving the details that you want, or you just keep hitting generate until you get what you want as well. The only issue with this, and it's really fun and it could last a lifetime, well, there's a few issues. Number one, some of them are going to be kind of wonky. So this guy has part of his helmet growing into his face. So I'm just going to rate that badly right there. Some of the faces, they're cut off at the chin. There's an awkward composition. Sometimes if you get close, there's going to be parts that maybe part of the eye didn't generate right. So there's going to be a little bit of an issue with that. So all in all, Google's probably going to be a better option for you. But if you can't find that, then you might want to do something like this. And you could do anything like backlit white, portrait photography of a pier with calm water, trees, sky, and I don't know, clouds. There are better image models. For example, Midjourney is going to give you something that is almost perfect. However, Midjourney is not necessarily ethical to use, and it's not free. So this is what we're going to do here. And then you might get something like that, and then you might say a close-up. And that's as far as I'll go with that. But the same, I guess, rules apply. You want it to have a variety of tones, sharpness, blended areas, and something that's not too difficult. And maybe you look at something like that, although the water would be pretty difficult. So there are a few things for you guys to think about as you get ready for this assignment. After you've got your picture and you approve it with me, and I would say maybe collect 5 different pictures and then show me the 5 of what you think are best. Then you're going to grid your photo and your piece of paper in your sketchbook. You're going to draw out your contours, erase your grid lines, start shading, all of your basics, and then put on the finishing touches. These are examples of students in my class and what they drew in the past, just to give you some ideas about what they did do. And then the rubric is here, and you can read through the rubric. And before the end of the assignment, we will just go over the rubric again together so that you just know, okay, these are the things that I need to know. Shaded almost identically communicates the shapes and character. I can see a variety of sharp and blended areas, three-dimensional, and the image has been cared for. There are no rips, overly erased areas, smudges, or grid marks. No grid marks. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope this helps a lot. And when you have questions in class, please ask me because I exist to help you. Thanks.